Good morning and happy Monday, PDHP parents and community. It's Carrie Ann Fitzgerald from the Program for the Development of Human Potential. I'm the Parent Community Outreach Coordinator, and we are still going through our hashtag parent social media and your child workshop bits. We have a lot of these that are running from school to school, but it's always good to have these flowing out there. There's not much direction with a lot of matters coming down to tech, but it is important for us to be very mindful about the tech that our kids are engaging in, how much time, what's out there, and continuing this conversation. I know that sometimes we have these conversations with our kids, but then it kind of backpedals a little bit, and we all get like a little maybe complacent or comfortable. So just kind of keeping that conversation rolling. We talked about some of the problems that we see when it comes to children's use of social media, and we're still looking in on that. Now, remember, earlier on I had mentioned to you that kids kind of view social media like, oh, okay, this is for us. This is private. This is where I can say what I want. It's temporary, but we realize that there's so much permanency. A lot of times, maybe a conversation that you and I would have had off to the side with friends becomes now a conversation that is potentially viral, right? So sometimes there's this almost permissiveness to post things either on your child's end or another child's end, and your child is now privy to it, things that are offensive, language that's offensive, hate speech is out there. A number of these things can damage a child's reputation. Inevitably, every spring, there are college recruitment advisors that come out and say that they had to revoke scholarships and seats from prospectives because of their online presence being less than desirable. And they're kind of frustrated in these messages where they say, they don't get it yet. Like we're still doing this. That's on us, moms and dads. We can't bury our heads on this one. Another thing that's a trend is sharing of passwords. You and I may have shared our phone numbers so that we can call each other and chat. Kids share their passwords with one another, which winds up getting them in a lot of trouble because if you think about your typical junior high school kids, 1 week they have a best friend and the next week not so much. So this becomes ammunition. So, considering that, we see cyberbullying, harassment, online bullying on the part of our children or others, and they're, kind of involved in it. They see it happening. Kids often are posting too much information. Again, we talked about having that conversation with the best friend to the side versus now putting it out there for everyone. Too much information can be used to embarrass or manipulate a child. It could cause psychological harm, keeps going back and back to that, revisiting it because now it's out in cyberspace. It could be used by criminals to steal someone's identity or property, and very rarely, but still a potential threat, is that there's determination of physical locations, so our kids can be tracked as to where they are. We know that damage to reputation or future prospects because of their behavior or even the peers that they are with can be a problem. There are unkind posts, angry posts, compromising photos and videos, group conflict that is depicted in text and imagery, exposure to content that is inappropriate. It can be a little subjective to say that, but still. A lot of content can be found on the web at large. We know that on just social media networking sites, but it's still there. And there's a potential for inappropriate contact with adults. Okay, so parents really need to ensure that social networking does not lead to offline contact that's unapproved by themselves or other caring adults in a child's life. There's no way to be certain your child will not be viewed on social media, even if he or she doesn't have accounts. So that's another thing that's going on. And of course, security threats. We deal with security threats on many devices. And of course, it's not unique to apps, but we should be aware of them. Some examples are phishing attacks, email messages with links to what looks like a login page, but it's an imposter page, records username and password so that phishers can use your account to spread spam messages or malicious links to your Facebook or whatever other social media accounts you might have. We know that there are other security issues that allow you to download malicious software. Clickjacking and like-jacking are big. And think about the age group. They are very, very quick to click. They're very impulsive. It's typical of the age. So something that looks interesting or tantalizing almost could redirect you to a site that plants all this malware on your device or posts bad links on your accounts. It makes you look like you like maybe a certain website or someone's post. It can trick naive users like these to reveal confidential and personal information. Sometimes it's sent to copy and paste into browsers, and it can be a trick if we don't know who it's coming from. There are fake apps out there. They're not always supported by, more responsible networking sites, but, things like See Who Viewed Your Timeline, very salacious. So, just keeping the kids alert and telling them to avoid using these. We also see money transfer scams going on. In some cases, you can buy a stolen credit card number and purchase what you'd like. And there are so many ways and tricks to go around this. Sending that package that you buy on Amazon with a stolen credit card number and routing it to someone else's home who will then get it to you. So there are these different things that are going on. Kids, of course, naive, hearing that they need to send money because someone's in trouble. These different scams that go on. Fake charities, right? Big winnings if you click this or you like this, right? So, of course, with our naive users and their propensity to be quick to click, we see this being a potential issue. And of course, we see sexting, and that's the sending of nude or partially nude images, unwanted requests to engage in sexual activities or sexual requests by an adult. This idea of sexting, we see in some of our junior highs, our high school age kids across the country. And it's almost reflected by them as a part of their norm. This is just how we flirt. This is what we do. But the conversation has to pedal back to, we don't take our clothes off in front of a camera. We don't ask people to do that either. So, we want to break that as becoming a potential norm. There's a lot of legal issues around that, a lot of predatory behavior around that. What we also see a lot of parents have come and talked to me about their children on different gaming platforms or spending some time on their devices and coming out very angry and aggressive afterwards when they're told that they have to come off. And yes, we all want our way, but this becomes a different thing because our brain is activated by a number of pleasure centers that these devices, these apps, these games really veer into. Think about, your reactions when you get a notification. That ding goes off. There's a pleasure center that activates. So, people talk about screen time addictions. we could see how that could occur. So all of these things we grapple with as parents, and our kids are grappling with. So I told you a lot of difficult things and problematic things that go on with social media. On Wednesday, let's take a look at another source. So I don't want you to have to feel like you have to go off the grid right now. Let's talk about what does work, what the good is that's out there, because there is some good. We always have to look at that moderation and that balance. Okay. Have a great day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Take care.